In this video, I'm going to show you how to add support for Material Design 3 in your Compose application. Material Design 3 is a new design system developed by the Material Design team that has new features like color schemes and dynamic colors, as well as new upgraded typography and other features that are still in development like shapes. So we have this application. It has some theme that we have designed in previous videos. It has its own theme that we designed, and now I'm going to add Material Design 3 to this application. What I do first is to go to my build.gradle file and add the Material Design 3 dependency. So I open build.gradle file from my app module, and then I add implementation androidx.compose.material3 and material3, the name of the artifact and its version. In this version of Android Studio, I can simply press Ctrl and space and it will auto-complete it for me. The latest version is 1 alpha 9, and in order to make it consistent with other dependencies, I cut it from this point and paste it after the other material 1 in the file. This is just for beauty. It doesn't affect any functionality. I press sync now and it's added to my dependencies. And once the dependency is added, we will design a Material 3 theme for our application. So I go to the UI package of my application, and there, first let's collapse these two packages. And in the UI package, I right click and press select new package. I name it M3, and inside it I'm gonna create a file called color. You can name it whatever you like. I'm gonna define color definitions inside this file, and I create another for typography, type.kt, to define the typography definitions for Material Design 3, and the final file is theme.kt, where I will define my Material Design 3 theme. Let's go to the color file and define our colors. Note that in Material Design 2, we used to use a class called colors. But in Material Design 3, we have color scheme. This is the class that we will use. But it has builder functions that we use as developers to return a color scheme for us. So I define a color scheme for light theme and a color scheme for dark theme. So for light theme, I define light color scheme, and the builder function is light color scheme. Note that once you import it, you can see that it has many different parameters, but I will define just a few of them that are so-called the primary and the main slots, the main color slots of the color scheme. So the first one is primary, then secondary. You can define all of them or many of them, but I will define just these three: primary, secondary, and tertiary. The tertiary parameter is something that we didn't have in Material Design 2. And it's like a third color that adds to the variance and variation of the colors that is available in our application. So for primary, I define a color, for secondary as well, for tertiary as well, and for primary I import it from the UI package, UI graphics package, and I add a color. For example, let's have a red color, a red family color for primary. So something like this. And for secondary, let's define a green color. So just a simple color RGB, the second pair of F's denotes green. And for tertiary, I'm gonna use yellow. So yellow is defined by mixing red and green. So we have two pairs of F's that create yellow. So this is for light color scheme. And for dark color scheme, I define another parameter, dark color scheme, that we will use for dark theme. And the builder function that I'm going to use is dark color scheme. And again, it has primary, secondary, and tertiary. At least these are the prominent colors in our application. So I'm gonna define these colors, these three colors, and I'm gonna use the same colors that we used. Let's copy it, paste it here. The same colors that we defined for the light theme. But because we are in the dark scheme, it needs to be a little bit brighter. It has currently very much contrast, and I'm gonna decrease it. In Material Design 3, we say let's use another tone of this color, because we use tonal palette in Material Design 3. But for simplicity, I just select it from here. So let's use a brighter color towards more light. So a tone starts from 0 and goes up to 100. 100 means 100% light, and 0 means 0% light. So for example, this part is 0% light, is 100% black, and this part is 100% light. So the tone is 100 at this point, and the tone is 0 at this point. So it's not that much of issue and importance here. Let's select just a color that has a higher percentage of tone. And for the green, let's do a similar thing. So I'm gonna select a color with a higher tone, and for yellow as well, something like this. So once we have the colors, let's go toward type and create our typography. I create a parameter called M3 typography, and the class that I'm gonna use to create the typography is typography from the Material3 package. So as you can see, it has several parameters to construct the class, and as you can see, if you see it more carefully, you can see that it has a simplified system of typography. It has several groups, and each group has 3 members. For example, one group is for display, the other for headline, the other is for title, body, and label. But each group has 3 members displayed: large, medium, small. Again, large, medium, small, large, medium, small. So we have 5 groups of text style, and each group has 3 variants: large, medium, and small. This is why we call it a simplified typography. So I'm gonna specify just the generic display text style that I'm gonna use in my typography, and it will have effect in my application. Therefore, I'm gonna specify the 3 members of the display group. So display large text style. I import text style from UI text package, and for font family I use font family to specify a font family that I imported from the right package. Yes, and font family, let's specify the font r.font. I'm gonna import a font. Let's import R, and then this time let's use Capriola font family. This is for display large. Let's also specify font weight. Because this is a large display text style, I'm gonna use font weight dot bold or extra bold for font weight. And then we have display medium and display small. I'm gonna copy the definition of display large and paste it twice, and then rename display large to medium and display large again to small, so that I have the 3 definitions. So for the display medium, I'm gonna use the same font family but a different font weight. Let's use bold here for font weight, and for small let's use the normal font weight but with the same font family. That's it. I only specify these 3 parameters for typography, and now our typography is ready. You might ask why we don't design shapes. That's because the shape system is not yet available for Compose. It is under development, and once it is available, we can also define the upgraded shape system for Material Design 3 in our Compose applications. But for now, we can take advantage of the many exciting features that Material Design 3 has and it can have for our Compose applications. Now in the theme file, I'm going to define my theme. With the composable, I define my M3 theme. I name it M3 theme, and like we did with other theme definitions, I specify a Boolean parameter for is dark with a default value of is system in dark theme, and also content, which is a composable. Like this. And inside the body of it, I'm gonna make a call to material theme, but the material theme from the Material3 package. Because we have added Material Design 3, we have access to both Material Design 2 and Material Design 3, but we use the 3 version. So Material Theme, and it has several parameters, as you can see: color scheme, shapes, and typography. So for color scheme, I specify color scheme. For shapes, I don't specify anything because I haven't customized the shapes. I leave it to the default. So typography, I specify typography. For color scheme, I check for when is dark. If it is dark, then I use the dark color scheme, and otherwise I use the light color scheme. And for typography, I specify the M3 typography. In order to use this theme, which should now be ready, it's not yet because we skipped the content. I need to specify the content as well. So I pass the content to it, and now my theme is ready. It's quite ready. I can use it in my application. What I'm gonna do is go to main activity and change the theme for my preview as well as my output. So let's find the preview file, the preview composable, and change the theme from new theme to M3 theme. This way you can follow the steps that we took and upgrade your Compose applications to Material Design 3. And I do the same for the set content. I change it to M3 theme. Let's run it, see if it has any effect. Okay, our application crashed. If we look at the error that we encountered in preview or in the logcat for the output, we can probably find some traces of what went wrong. We have illegal argument exception. Colors must have the length of at least 2 if color stops is omitted. And it is for the gradient part. So we created gradient, if you remember, in a previous video for one of our components, and because now we have changed our theme, probably that's causing the issue. So gradient, I'm gonna remove that part that deals with gradient and run the application again. There we go, it's running. As you can see, it is running, but it doesn't have any of the effects of the theme that we designed, nor the color, nor the typography. And that's normal. Why? Because we haven't used, in fact, material components of Material Design 3 yet. What we have used in our previous videos is Material Design 2 components. Let's see that. This is the scaffold from Material Design 2. If you open it, you can see that it's from this part. You can see that it's from Material Design 2 package. So I close it and I change it to scaffold. When I type it, I can select the scaffold from Material Design 3. So if I press enter now, it will complete the path to a scaffold to show that it is from the Material Design 3 package. So because it has a different syntax, it doesn't have scaffold state parameter, so I remove it. And I also press Ctrl P to see the different parameters that are available. As you can see, we don't see any drawer content parameter for this scaffold. Probably it's not yet available. So we need to remove that drawer part, the drawer content part. So I remove it. And I hover over it, and it needs opt-in for experimental Material3 API. So because it is still experimental, we need to opt in by adding this opt-in annotation to the composable. And now the error is gone. So this is now using the scaffold from Material Design 3. But we also need to specify the colors from our theme for this scaffold. So let's see how it works before that. Okay, it's running. We don't see any effect of the colors yet. So I specify the color parameters like container color. So because the theme that we defined doesn't have any color specified for container, that's normal that we don't see any color available here. So I'm gonna use the primary color that we defined in our theme for the container. So container color, I access the color that we defined using material theme. Make sure to use the one from Material3 package, and then color scheme, and then primary. And this is for scaffold. Next, I'm gonna define the colors for other components like the floating action button, and for the my bar that defines the top bar and bottom bar for our application. So let's do that first. Let's go to my bar definition, and here I'm gonna define a background, and for background color I'm gonna use I'm gonna use material theme, again from the Material3 package, color scheme, and let's use primary. Yeah, I'm gonna use primary for the bottom and top app bars, and secondary for the container. So let's go to our scaffold definition and change the container color from primary to secondary. And for our floating action button, let's find our floating action button. Yes, floating action button. It's the extended floating action button. I'm gonna use the extended floating action button from Material3 package, like this. And let's remove the parameters that are not available, like background color, and let's see what other parameters it has. Container color. For container color, I'm gonna customize it by using the tertiary color, material theme dot color scheme and tertiary. You might think that this is an ugly way to specify the color because the package name is very long, but that's how we have to do it now because we are using both design systems, Material Design 2 and Material Design 3. And if I removed Material Design 2 completely, my application would probably crash and break. So because we are doing a gradual upgrade, we have to go with this method for now. So now that I defined the custom colors from my new Material Design 3 theme, let's run application. There we go. You can see that our application is now using the new theme that we defined, and it uses the different color scheme for the dark theme as we defined in our application theme. Next, let's define and customize some of our typography for the application. For example, for this component, welcome to my app, the easiest way is to go to my text composable. That is a custom component that I have defined, and change the default style from new themes typography to material theme dot typography dot display small or display medium. Let's use this default style. And next, let's go to welcome to my app. It is defined in the body of the scaffold. In fact, let's use this default style in the definition of my text here. So I copied and pasted display medium from my theme as the default text style for this composable. Let's go back to the previous one. My text. Welcome to my app. Let's add some padding to it. A padding top of 16 depth, and run the application. All right, there we go. You can see that some of the components are already taking the effect of that text style from our theme. We can use that for other components as well. For my bar, for example, I can change it to my text instead of text. So here's where we specified the text style for the content of my bar. So instead of the text style from our previous theme, I'm gonna use from my new theme, material theme typography dot display medium. Like this. And also for the other component, I can do the same for the my surface composable. For example, provide text style. I can say material theme dot typography dot display medium or display small. Let's use display small for this one. And for our floating action button, we are using text. I change it to my text so that it takes the effect of the default text style from our upgraded theme. Let's run the application. You see that the colors that we are using for light theme have too much contrast. We need to lower them a little bit. Once we run this application, I'll go and change that. Okay, my surface broke. I shouldn't have made that change for my surface. So I change, oh, no. That's okay, but I forgot to specify the content. There we go. Run it again. There we go. One of the exciting features of Material3 that I'm a huge fan of is the concept of dynamic color. And dynamic color is a feature that allows the users and their applications to take the color of their background, their wallpaper, and use it in the application. It kind of uses an algorithmic feature, an algorithmic extraction of the background color, the wallpaper color, and applies it to the application. This is called dynamic theme. For example, if I change the wallpaper on my phone to blue, then the theme of my application changes to the blue color, to a family, a variant of blue color. And if I change it to yellow, then it changes, the theme of my application changes to use the yellow color or a family, a yellow color from the yellow family that is extracted from that wallpaper and apply it to the theme of my application. So let's go to my theme definition and see how it works. The first thing you need to do is to make sure that your Android version supports that. The dynamic color feature is only supported on Android 12 and above, or API 31. So we need to check that with using the Android APIs. So I define in my theme a variable called dynamic, and then here check for build version build dot SDK build dot version. Let's import build and then SDK int. If it is higher than, greater than, or equal to API 31 or Android S or Android 12, then it means that a dynamic theme is supported on our phone. So version codes build.version codes S is the version that we need to compare against. If you open S, you see that it is 31, API 31. So now in the place where we specify the color scheme for our material theme, I can check for dynamic as well. So I say if dynamic is supported and is dark, then we prefer to use dynamic dark color. So dynamic dark color scheme, and we pass the context to it, local context dot current. let's import local context. Otherwise, if dynamic is supported, and is not dark, then we will use the dynamic light color scheme, dynamic light color scheme, and we pass local context.current to it as well. Also make sure, let's not forget to change this high contrast color to a little bit moderate color. I go to the color file and decrease the severity of this color for all three colors. Okay. Now that our colors are ready and we have also incorporated dynamic color feature, let's run the application. There we go. Now our application is using the dynamic light color. Because I'm using Pixel API 32 emulator, this is higher than API 31, greater than or equal to API 31, therefore dynamic color is supported. And why this color is blue? Because I'm using this wallpaper, which has the dominant color of blue. Let's change it to another background color and see how it affects the theme of our application. Let's go back to the app. It's still not much different from the previous background, so I change it to another, to a red, for example, wallpaper. Back to the app. There we go. You can see that it changes to red color, to a variant of red. Let's close this screen capture that I took by mistake. And what if I change it to dark theme? If I change the theme of my phone to dark theme, how it affects the theme of my application? You can see that now it is lighter. So this is the effect of dynamic light colors and dynamic dark colors. Now this is using the dynamic dark color scheme. Back to light theme. Let's change to this wallpaper, which is predominantly green. Back to the app. There we go, it's now green. This is what we call dynamic color and dynamic theming. So in this video, you learned how you can upgrade your existing Compose theme to Material Design 3. You learned about color schemes, you learned about dynamic colors and the new upgraded typography system introduced in Material 3. I hope that you enjoyed. Before I go, I want to mention again the Material Theme Builder, the online tool, Material Theme Builder. That's a tool that you can customize your material theme online, and then you can use it. Material Theme Builder, Material Theme Builder. There we go. materialfoundation.github.io. This is the link to it. And here You can play around with different values and for different backgrounds for your theme and see how it affects the theme, and also change to different colors, customize the primary, secondary, tertiary, neutral, and other colors in your application. And once you are happy with the values that you have selected for your theme in terms of the colors, then you can press export and get Jetpack Compose theme.kt file, which gives you several files including theme.kt, colors and typography, and then you can add them to your application and use them. So that's it for Material 3 in Jetpack Compose. I hope that you enjoyed, and happy theming!